The landscape of our planet is changing. Every form of life is being impacted by climate change, and that includes plants. That's why San Diego researchers are using new technology to build toward a more resilient green future.
CBS 8 Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis joins us right now. She talked to one of the researchers about new imaging they're using that shows a colorful side inside the plants.
It is pretty cool, especially when we put in perspective, it's like one little root, but you're going to see so many different dots, and it's all these different molecules, so it's really cool. We are talking about new imaging being used to study the cellular life of plants in 3D. I visited the Salk Institute to understand the benefits and tell you how this can be connected to fighting climate change in this Earth 8 report.
It's a very complex organ made of different kinds of cells in layers. And what you're looking at in colors are all genes. So you can see how
Each little speck
is a gene. Different color means different genes.
Okay.
With different functions.
Thanks to advancing technology with roots in La Jolla, we can clearly see each speck in this 3D image. This is unlocking information in this lab plant not visible to the naked eye.
So basically all those little dots that we just saw on that computer, that's what we're looking at?
Exactly. That's something we can't see by our eyes.
That's where PhytoMap comes in. This new imaging technology was published a few months ago and developed by Salk scientists, including Tatsuya Nobori. From root tip to leaf tip, it examines the cellular life of entire plant tissues. PhytoMap helps researchers to see how cells communicate with each other using a bunch of different kinds of genes. Here, we're examining the gene expression of RNA molecules produced by plants.
So ultimately, we'd like to advance PhytoMap so that we can visualize not only RNAs, but also proteins and other kind of molecules at the same time.
The data is being used to understand a plant's response to environmental changes and functional needs. These images help researchers to study various genes without time-consuming genetic manipulation. Many genes can be studied at the same time in lab plants like Arabidopsis thaliana without having to sacrifice or slice the plants.
If you cut the slice, you're going to lose all the rest of the information. That's why that's the motivation behind developing PhytoMap, which can visualize a lot of genes at the same time in 3D plant tissue without even breaking cells apart or cutting the tissue open.
Learning how these cells communicate offers light on predicting how plants could respond to climate changes. PhytoMap allows researchers to know how each individual cell responds in different ways to different stresses, including high temperatures and lack of water. From lab plants to crops, this insight could potentially help farmers navigate a changing landscape when it comes to future crops.
Then we can learn how plant cells function in the face of changing climates. And we can use this basic understanding to potentially create crops that are more resilient against climate change in the future.
Hopefully, this research will connect the dots to grow a more adaptable ecosystem, one colorful speck at a time.
That's pretty cool.
I was fascinated because when you see the actual size of the root that you're examining, it's like the size of a fingernail. And then all those little dots.
The whole world inside of it.
That's a good way to put it, the whole world inside of it.
And the kind of change in tack and approach, you know, we talk about climate change all the time, how we stop it, slow it. Hey, it's kind of baked in, no pun intended, finding ways to help plant life adapt and still be able to produce food, et cetera. Just incredible value.
Exactly, because it's, like you said, adapt. Things are going to be changing.
Yeah.
Climate change impacts are being felt now. They will continue to be felt in the future. So why not just kind of find a way to work around that and continue to have our green spaces and crops, and especially when you have farmers who can benefit from this as well.
Incredible research. Thanks.
You're welcome.